What is the most horrifyingly wrong or incorrect advice you've ever heard? Relationship falling to pieces? Have a baby. To be on the safe side, should be phrased as, if you have trouble in your relationship, have a baby. You'll soon forget all about your current trouble. I support fixing all current problems by transforming them into catastrophes. Reading Cosmopolitan to look at their advice for women. The whole thing was pretty ridiculous, but the things that stand out most to me right now is, on the first date, make it as hard and awkward for the guy to keep the conversation going as possible. To make him more attracted to you, start hitting on other men in front of him. And you can tell he's cheating on you if he has male friends who don't hang out with you. I'm pretty sure magazines like this intentionally give bad dating advice in order to keep their readers single, and thus buying Cosmo for dating advice. What the fucking fuck? Are you sure this isn't a sarcastic article? Nope, not sarcasm, just Cosmo. They actually tell us to do this shit. Although, they say poking you in the balls with a fork is a good idea too, so I guess this is pretty tame by comparison. Intercourse with a virgin cures HIV. Wait, someone actually thinks this? Look up on Google the mass rapes of babies and toddlers in Africa. Someone should tell them that to cure HIV they have to kill another person with HIV. Boom, problem solved. Take this homeopathic vaccine. It's better than the dangerous stuff your doctor wants to give you. If alternative medicine worked, it would just be called medicine. Had a health science teacher, in college mind you, tell the entire class that they should all just stop taking their prescription meds because that is what is killing you. People like this should die. Then again, if they follow their advice, they will. That professor wasn't stupid. She just hated their students. One of my stepdaughters. I never carry any ID because that way when the police pull you over then can't tell if you have warrants or not. Yeah, that'll work. Is she cute? If she's cute it might work better than you would believe. She's cute, but cops don't like being sworn at very much, apparently. Join the army, they said. See the world, they said. By world they meant camel spiders. To the world, you may just be a camel spider, but to some camel spider, you may be the world. Like if you hate people who punch kittens. Bleach can be used as a douche to stop the sperm from making you pregnant after sex. My reproductive organs just cringed. While technically correct, if you use enough of it, the side effects would be rather unpleasant. Everything will work itself out. I know it fucking doesn't. I fix everything and then they say, see, it all worked out. So sick of hearing that. Also, I really hate the sentiment, it just wasn't meant to be. My son's father was a horrible alcoholic. He would disappear for days at a time. I can't tell you how many times I was told to stick it out just because we had a child together. Condoms don't protect against HIV. Heard this from a generally intelligent, albeit very Christian young lady doing outreach work with inner-city teens. I had to sit her down for a talk. The last thing those kids need is one more person reinforcing the idea that since condoms don't always work, there's no point in using them. When I was in high school, we only had one sex ed session in grade 9. The instructor told us you needed to put on 8 condoms at the same time to prevent the transmission of HIV. Any less and the virus could still get through. Wearing more than one is supposed to increase the chance of them ripping. Your pen stopped working? Take the ink tube out and suck on the open end of it. That'll make it work again. You can guess what happened. I know this one woman that has serious genetic abnormalities, and if she were to get pregnant she needs to be monitored by specialists prior to conception and labeled high risk, as one specific health problem could cause the fetus she carries to develop brain damage or life-threatening congenital problems. Her preacher told her it was wrong to use birth control, or get ultrasounds, or give birth in a hospital, or vaccinate her children, so she is not getting any health care whatsoever besides homeopathy and prayer at church. She is encouraging others with the same condition to live the same lifestyle, because she has had one borderline healthy child, and one dead one. What the fuck? Why would you take medical advice from a preacher? I understand wanting your church and religion to play a part in the pregnancy and child's life, but seriously. A Christian friend explained that God wanted me to stay a virgin until marriage, but bump sex was totally okay. Apparently, the Lord is very concerned about my hymen, but is totally cool with me taking it in the pooper. The day I realized I need to stop taking career advice from my dad was when he said the following, when I was about 17. Everyone goes into computers now. Too many people. All the people your brother's age went into computers at university, so there's no point in you doing it. You need to do something else if you want to find a job. I now live with a 29-year-old app developer who earns £45,000. It was terrible advice from a man who was too old to really understand that computers weren't just a fad. Living with debt is okay. You never really have to pay it off. From fellow medical students. There is no way this is the worst advice you've ever gotten. It's basically true. If they had said, living with debt is good, it would be pretty terrible advice, but your quote makes it sound like whoever said it is resigned to being in debt for the rest of their life. Many years ago, when I lived in Cali and was getting a divorce during a time the state had decided to add mandatory counseling because of the high divorce rates. So I am waiting, and I can hear everything that is being said by the person in the counseling booth. The woman is crying and saying that her husband has been drinking and beating her since his release from jail. The counselor's response? You can either break up your family or accept him the way he is. Worst advice ever. No, that's the best advice ever. Those are her two options. And it's her choice. Literally, that is the simplest way to look at it. I don't see how else you can look at it. He's not just gonna magically not drink and stop beating her. My dad worked as a car salesman for 1 year back in the late 90s. I graduated college in '99 and got my first real job that fall. I had been driving my grandfather's '82 Chevy Celebrity, reeked of cigar smoke, and started commuting from rural Maryland to Beltway, Virginia, about an hour. Got in an accident involving a deer carcass. Bent the frame. Dad recommends getting a new car. I only had 1 or 2 paychecks under my belt, and instead of advising me to look for something used or just doing what I could to keep the Celebrity going, he said I should go to his old dealership, talk to his friend and get a brand new 2000 VW Jetta. He said since I had just graduated college, the best plan would be to sign a student lease. That is, a lease with a limit of 15,000 miles a year despite my 100-mile-a-day commute. I did exactly what he recommended. Totally my fault for not doing math. I was a dumb kid too excited by the thought of getting my first brand new car per parental recommendation. I eagerly put a whopping $1,000 down. Cut to 4 years later, the balloon hits and I'm over double the allotted miles. Following my dad's advice, I wound up paying about $30,000 for a $16,000 vehicle. Not too bad or anything, but there is a bus route that recently got combined into another route. 510 no longer comes around, it's only the 509 now. This lady gets on a bus and asks if the 509 goes the same route as the 510. The bus driver says, sort of, and leaves it at that. The lady asks again, where does this bus go? The driver asks, where do you want to go? Lady says, I don't know, I just know it's on the 510 line. Bus driver looks at her blankly. Lady then says, never mind, I'll just wait for the 510. Bus driver then says, okay, you do that. I felt bad for the lady because she left before I could speak up. Stupid bus driver made her wait in the rain for a bus that would never come. The lady is a bit lost, and she should know where she's trying to go, but the bus driver was the worst. Opposites attract. What is true for magnets is not true for human beings. Also, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I think that is one of the worst pieces of advice that is commonly given to children throughout the lower levels of grade school. How can you tell a child this and then explain to him why using a racial slur is wrong or why bullying is wrong? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will give me mental illnesses and lead to my suicide. Go scatter your loved one's ashes wherever. I'm now a funeral director, and there's a huge list of places where it is illegal to scatter them. Most state parks, for example. Families can get fined large amounts. Cremated remains have no nutritional value and can actually smother plant life in amounts larger than a scattering dusting. Do not put them directly on your plant's soil. The director of a charity bicycling organization to new riders, don't worry about picking up biking gloves, you don't need them. In addition to protecting your hands in case of a fall, which is like 1% of their function, cycling gloves protect 2 nerves that run through your palms. Leaning on handlebars for long periods of time dulls these nerves, and that makes your hand numb and difficult to move. Particularly, it makes it hard to form a fist, which is how you fucking brake on a bicycle and prevent huge accidents, god damn it. What is the most incorrect advice you've ever heard? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.